Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, we will be talking about a very dangerous storm system that is going to be taking shape across the United States. Now, I say dangerous because it's pretty obvious. If you look at the Storm Prediction Center website, which is what the National Weather Service uses to put out their, risks for severe weather and the areas that are under it. Today, we have a very large area under enhanced, which is a 3 out of 5. Tomorrow, there's a moderate, which is a 4 out of 5. They don't issue this quite often. It's thankfully a small area in a rural part of Minnesota. Still, some larger cities like Alexandria will be affected. You can see Wilmer, Fergus Falls. In enhanced, we have even larger cities: Minneapolis, Sioux Falls, Fargo, and in the slight, which still could be some nasty storms in that area, we have Omaha, Wichita, St. Paul, Lincoln, and Des Moines. The main threat for tomorrow, let me just go over this and show you. It's tornado. At least it's one of the big threats. You can see it's 15. It's pretty darn high, and that's a bit unfortunate. Wind, obviously, also pretty significant, but again, this would not be by itself enough for them to issue a moderate. And you can see the hail is also rather big, and especially in that red area. So that is for tomorrow. For today, the remainder of today, Sunday, you can see that is the overall threat of thunderstorms. That's the light green, that is marginal, slight, and right there is where it's going to be the worst. Again, the tornado threat, pretty uncomfortably high. The wind threat's pretty high, and of course the hail threat is pretty high. So, hi. Let me show you right now what's going on across that area. You can see really nothing. We do have storms, obviously, in activity across the northern plains, into Minnesota, into even, areas like Brandon just south. We have some nasty storms just south of those cities and provinces. And notice, again, the area that they're most concerned yet is still quiet, but that will change. Notice, you could tell we have a large system in play when we have, mountainous snow, quite a bit of rain for the northwest. Definitely some good news in terms of the water, but this really isn't enough to do too much in terms of the drought busting. And yes, so this will be a multi-day threat because I went over today and tomorrow, which is Memorial Day, but on Tuesday, it's also a pretty strong threat, and that affects large cities like Kansas City, Wichita, and the slight risk affects cities like Milwaukee, Madison, and marginal effects even more, including cities like Chicago. So do note that I'm going to show you the European first. So again, this is what's kind of going on right now. You can see the European starts developing some nasty storms by around 7. It is 7 when I'm recording this, and these storms haven't yet formalized. So I guess that's potentially some good news. Maybe they're weaker or not as violent and robust as expected. But do note that into the overnight hours, we do have the system across the west that strengthens. We have a lot of snow. There are winter storm warnings posted for areas of the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone. Quite some nasty storms, supercells potentially into Minnesota, into the upper plains, again, Wisconsin. But tomorrow, Memorial Day, is the bigger threat as we have the strong low pressure that develops a lot of rain on the backside of this into Nebraska, and panhandle of Nebraska. There's going to be some strong winds into South Dakota and Wyoming. Again, pretty heavy rain, potentially, driven sideways. And right there, that nasty cold front. Late tomorrow could be developing some pretty significant tornadoes, especially as it originates in western Minnesota. As it pushes east, strong hail, large hail, strong winds, I should say, heavy rain as it pushes into more populated areas, St. Paul and whatnot. Notice a rather strange system. The cold front's kind of pretty far to the east and north, and the center is over here. Again, strong winds, mainly rain, obviously some mountain snow. And then you can see on Tuesday, where we have that enhanced for Kansas City, we do have another wave of potential storms that could redevelop, but again, not as significant. But the weather pattern does not stay inactive. We have another system that causes some activity across the deep south on Thursday, Friday, and then we have several systems that come through, and including potential some sort of a tropical disturbance, which only kind of which actually strengthens into something formidable. But you can see the European really keeps things quite a bit active here. So let me go over and show you the GFS now. Again, probably the second best model for severe weather and for these type of events. Again, this is today. It really peaks at around 1 a.m. So again, we still have a lot of time. Just because these storms here aren't developing doesn't mean that they won't. And you can see we do have a lot of activity further towards the west. And you can see some of these have definite impressive hail cores, as that white right there. Rain can't be that heavy. It's the radar picking up probably golf ball size drops of rain, which only means one thing: hail. And If you were to take a look further again east, still relatively quiet, but we can see just there we are having some activity begin to blow up. Let me go back and start showing the GFS again. So again, there's that low pressure, strengthens into the overnight, into tomorrow evening, into the overnight hours, right? There's that tornado threat. You can see the GFS still pretty similar to what the European shows, and again, does drag that second part of the cold front into Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, maybe into Tuesday and Wednesday, and then that cold front stalls out, and this little piece right here redevelops, and potentially, again, wreaks a little bit of havoc towards the south. Doesn't look too incredible, but again, just like the European, the GFS continues moisture from the Pacific, from the south, very warm conditions, moist, and that just allows storm after storm to develop with some tropical activity most likely as well. And you can see we have quite a bit of these tropical systems potentially, or just interest, I should say, according to really both models, the GFS and the European. Canadian model, not as good of a model, I would say. Still, I like to look at it. Again, that's today's, I guess, it's prognosis for today at midnight. This is at 7 a.m. This is now 1 p.m. And again, that's when the threat peaks of those tornadoes and what's not. You can see that's a nasty one that's going to go far into, say, Brandon, Winnipeg. All those cities are still going to potentially see some severe weather. Pretty nasty. And then that cold front re-intensifies late Tuesday into Wednesday. Right there, boom, a line of storms passes through, and there's a little bit of cooler behind it. But again, just like the other models, the Canadian keeps things active, either with tropical disturbances or more moisture from the Pacific Northwest, more systems, though a bit more calm. But I wouldn't take any, I guess, if you don't want active weather, I wouldn't take any refuge in that, as the Canadian is kind of the outlier in that scenario. So this is the HER model, the latest. It's a very short range model, does not go out far, but it is this looks old for some reason. They might have some server issues here. No, that's apparently, okay, so never mind. This is what the HER model thinks will be occurring. So again, that's what we're kind of looking at right now on the radar. So again, it's done a pretty good job thus far, right? And let's see what it does overnight. Again, right, today's the first day. You can see that around 10, 11, we see these nasty storms developing across southeastern South Dakota, northern Nebraska, so Sioux Falls, Sioux City, northern Iowa. All those cities are undergone for some nasty storms, including St. Paul or Minnesota and Minneapolis. Just north of you seems the biggest threat, but definitely, this could deviate several miles this or that way. Notice quite some heavy snow across Wyoming, including some very heavy rain across northeastern Wyoming, and then this system starts exploding and intensifying, and that brings us to tomorrow at around 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., right? So these storms, they've kind of dwindled away. Maybe even some sun breaks out, which would make probably things even worse as it destabilizes the atmosphere. But you can see it's pretty calm. It really isn't anything. We have a lot of warm air being pumped up. South of these areas, across the really Midwest and South, it will be extremely warm. So I guess, that's one thing for those areas. And then look, this system, while it's just pummeling these areas with rain, in fact, heavy rain, even some thunderstorms, the severe weather really starts acting up right there. Do you see that powerful line? Let me zoom in, because this is going to be potentially something that is going to be, deadly, possibly, if we are unfortunate enough. And look, right there. So through the 12-1, right, this will have a potentially a nasty side to it, but then the Storm Prediction Center, again, has a highest risk right across western Minnesota. And that's seemingly when it takes its biggest, strength for at least the tornadoes, the biggest probability. Later on, as it moves forward towards the north, wind obviously joins that threat as it develops more into a squall line, and of course large hail. With any of these cells, you can see some of them more discrete further to the south. A very, very active and dangerous system potentially. And you can see several lines into Des Moines, Iowa, also developing. It weakens as we get towards daybreak Tuesday, right? But again, it does seem that it will refire up on Tuesday, late Tuesday, into another line of storms. And you can see this model does show that, the FV3 high res. So we'll have to see. Some of these are pretty darn slow moving, so there could be a decent flood threat. Let me go back to the HER model and just show you what it shows for that accumulated rainfall. Obviously, this is kind of not the biggest concern, but across areas like North Dakota, there could be some heavy rains if there's several thunderstorms over, on top of each other. There could be some decent accumulations of precipitation, maybe some localized flooding, I want to zoom out or at least go to the northwest. Look, portions right here where that snow will be falling and rain. This storm stalls out for quite a while. Definitely a lot of good precip for Wyoming. You know, they could use that. There will be some high snows, the snowfall amounts, and high in terms of latitude or altitude. And you can see that we do have, you know, some areas potentially over 3 feet of snow, which I wouldn't be too surprised to see. You can see that right here, if I were to click on that, you know, area that has that winter storm warning, around 30 inches possible, if not even higher. So it's quite a system. Notice further south there will be some nasty storms, and just mainly a rain threat. You can see Rapid City about to get in on some precipitation. Nothing too extremely heavy though. And yeah, that's basically it, right? So again, today is the first day of this. You can see the moderate risk is issued for Monday. It's in red because they want that to catch your attention. Moderate is a high risk. They have this in Spanish, but basically they're saying here that's high confidence, alta confianza of many storms that are of severe status and that could produce either wind, tornadoes, hail, all those threats. And they're saying that there could be a lot of them, numerous, and it's a pretty high confidence of that. Just did a little refining there of my Spanish. I'm gonna try finding an English version here so you guys don't have to watch the painful translation. But basically it's a 4 out of 5 on their scale. I don't know if I can find it. Well, let's see right here. Moderate risk 4, right? This is directly from their Facebook account. You can see right here numerous damaging gusts, 75 plus, several tornadoes, and numerous hail. Some cities in risk. You can see Fargo, Alexandria, Sioux City, Minneapolis. Minneapolis not in the worst of things, but you're in that enhanced, which is uncomfortably high. So that is that for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Obviously, stay safe. And I will be catching you all on the next episode. Take a look at that map. Take a close look as that is, most likely where the heaviest will be occurring. And you can see Alexandria, or the heaviest threat. Alexandria is just right smack in the middle there. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. See ya.